The legal definition of molestation is the crime of sexual acts with children up to the age of 18, including touching of private parts, exposure of genitalia, taking of pornographic pictures, rape, inducement of sexual acts with the molester or with other children, and variations of these acts by pedophiles. The Merriam-Webster definition of molestation is to make unwanted or improper sexual advances towards someone, especially to force physical and usually sexual contact on someone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you are watching this, know that I appreciate you. I am Coach Jay, also known as Juaitan Robinson, and I am a spiritual life purpose and women's empowerment partner. In short, that means that I am a life coach with a focus on women, their pain, their purpose, and their power. And to take that even further, I work with, and quite honestly sometimes target, those women that are survivors, specifically survivors of rape and molestation. I also help the woman that's the survivor of divorce, depression, abuse of any kind, single parenthood, and even church hurt, battles with faith. But today we're going to talk about molestation. If you've paid any attention to anything that I have put out there in writing, whether it be a book or a blog, or even some of my previous videos where I gloss over the fact that I was not only a victim of molestation, but a victim of rape. And I survived. What I'm going to talk about today is one of those occasions where I was indeed molested. And I'm not going to talk about it being the first time, because it wasn't the first time, or it being the last time, because it wasn't the last time. But what it was the first time that I realized that God was for me, that God had my best interest at heart, that God was my protector, that God was my covering, and that God watches over me every moment of the day. I've written about this particular occasion in brief, but I'll talk about it a little bit more. I don't recall exactly what age I was, but I know that I was around the age of, I don't know, somewhere between 10 and 12. And I won't mention any names here because it's really, even though most of the people are deceased that would be impacted by this, the older people, I should say. Some of them are still alive. I don't know if my molester is still alive. I do recall seeing him some years ago at an unfortunate family event. And quite honestly, I don't even remember his name. And his name really isn't important, at least not to me. For other victims of molestation, that person's name, remembering that person's name, is important to them, but it's not important to me. This particular evening, we were staying at a family member's home, and the way the home was set up was at the living room, at the front door. There was a living room and a parlor, and the parlor had a door that the parlor could actually be used as an additional bedroom. It had a pull-out sofa in there, and it had a door, but then it also had double doors that led to the living room, and we kept those doors closed because we most often use it as a bedroom, because most often there were scores of us children there, all around the same age. And that night, it was my night to sleep in that room alone. So I slept in that room. I was in that room, and all of a sudden I hear footsteps across the creaky wood floors walking towards me. And they're walking towards the room that I'm in, but I'm not really thinking a whole lot about it, because again, the front door to the entryway to the apartment is there as well. So I'm thinking that maybe this person is going to go out the front door. And all of a sudden I hear the door to that room open, the door to that parlor open, and this person is coming in, and I know instantly who it is, but he appears as a dark figure in the door, in the doorway. And the parlor was small, so the sofa bed basically, when let out, took up the entire room. So there wasn't much space to move about the room. It's like you open the door and the bed is right there. So, and there's even like a little closet, if I'm not mistaken. There was a closet there. So the bed is taking up the entire room. There's a window that looks outside as well. So the bed is taking up the entire room. The doorway to the parlor is there on one side. Then there's the bed, and then there's the window. So in between the door and the window, the bed is. And he opens the door, and his dark figure is in the doorway. And like I said, I knew instantly who it was. And I didn't like the way I felt. There was absolute fear, but there was absolute knowing as well. I knew what he had come for, because he had made inappropriate passes at me before. So I knew that his desire for me was there, which to me was strange. And it's always been strange to me when a grown man, or even an older male teenager, desires a younger person, a child. That always puzzled me. I never understood it. But I guess that speaks to their mental health. Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, he's speaking to me, and he's saying a lot of words, or what seems like a lot of words. It's really not. But what I fully understand is, be quiet. Don't say anything. Just be quiet. And so I am. And I know what he's come to do. And I'm trying to get away from him. But there's nowhere to go. Because again, the doorway, the window, the bed. There's nowhere to go. And it's a sleeper sofa. So it's really not like I can crawl up into the corner or jump over top. There's a full-grown man in front of me blocking the doorway. And there's a window. And I'm not going out the window because it's on the second floor. Although I do know of someone who did go out the window. To prevent being raped. So he's on top of me, and he's trying to get at my skin, because I am literally fully clothed, not in pajamas, but in clothing and street clothes. I have on my street clothes. I'm sleeping in my clothes, and he's trying to get at my skin. And he's fumbling in the dark, and the only light that's coming through is the light from the street light that's outside the window. But even in that moment, it doesn't seem like there's any light coming through at all. So he's fumbling, trying to get to my skin. He's trying to get under my top, and he's trying to get inside my pants, and he's trying to touch me in places where he should not be touching me. And all of a sudden I hear, literally hear, not imagine, not think I heard, but literally hear, "Get off that girl." And get off that girl. And he hears it too. And he gets up, he jumps up, he gets off of me, and he goes out the room. And the door is still cracked, so I can see that there's no one in the hallway. And I knew that there was no one in the living room because no one slept in the living room. And I look out the window, and we're on the second floor. So of course there's no one in the window. But he and I both clearly heard, "Get off that girl." And he did. That is when I knew that God was for me, that God was my protector, that God was my covering, that God looked out for me, that I could trust God. That was the first time that realization hit me. And I had been through so much between birth and that moment. And I believed that God existed, but I wasn't 100% sure. I wasn't 100% certain that he paid attention to me. Even if he did exist, I wasn't 100% sure that he cared about me. I had experienced the gift of the Holy Ghost. I had experienced being slain in the Spirit. I had experienced that at a young age. At church, at revival, I had experienced that. But this time, that night, was the first time that I knew that God was for me, that he cared about me, that my existence mattered to him. That was the first time of many. He continuously has reassured me throughout my life that he is concerned about me, that he cares about me. And he's brought me through several other incidences of molestation, including the big incident of me being raped. I survived. By the grace of God, I survived. And even though that was a traumatic experience for a child, a traumatic experience for anyone, but for a child especially, even though that was a traumatic experience, I'm so grateful for it, because that's when I realized that God was real. He's real. And he's not just looking out for me. He's looking out for you too. He's concerned about you as well. He wants what's best for you. And if you ever have the need or the desire to talk to someone about what you've been through, what you've encountered, what you've experienced, you can always reach out to me. You can always reach out to me. You can go to my website, JuaitanRobinson.com. You can click on Discovery Call and schedule a call with me, a 30-minute call with me. And during that call, we'll have a good conversation. We'll do a little exercise. And we'll determine by the end of that call if I'm the person that you want to partner with to help you through the process of no longer being a victim, but a survivor. I will help you get out of the victim mindset and move you into the survivor mindset so that you see that there is strength and power in everything that you've been through and how you can use that strength and power to propel you into your next best phase of life. Reach out. Let's talk. JuaitanRobinson.com. Click the Let's Talk button and schedule your 30-minute discovery call with me. Peace and blessings. Remember to walk in your purpose and know that I appreciate you.